Imagine being a nation burdened by billions in debt that restricts your ability to provide essential services, develop infrastructure, and ensure security. This was Somalia's reality until recently. In a landmark decision, the United States has cancelled $1.1 billion of Somalia's debt. But what does this debt relief actually signify? What are the consequences for Somalia's growth, U.S. Somalia relations, and the stability of the East African region? Stay tuned as we delve into the reasons behind this decision and examine its extensive impacts on the region and beyond. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to Mwaki Insights for in-depth analyses of global events. To grasp the significance of the debt cancellation, we need to understand Somalia's debt history. Somalia's external debt ballooned to around $5 billion, a consequence of prolonged civil conflict, political instability, and recurring natural disasters. This overwhelming debt has stifled Somalia's ability to invest in essential services like healthcare, education, and infrastructure development. Much of this debt was owed to international creditors, such as the IMF and World Bank, severely restricting Somalia's fiscal flexibility and economic growth. Classified as one of the world's most heavily indebted countries, Somalia has been in a precarious position, constantly juggling urgent humanitarian needs with a crushing debt burden. On November 5, 2024, the United States made a significant decision to cancel $1.1 billion of Somalia's debt. But what prompted this move? This decision goes beyond mere financial figures. It's a strategic action driven by several critical factors. First, humanitarian urgency. Somalia faces severe food insecurity, impacting millions of lives. The US viewed debt relief as a means to alleviate Somalia's financial burden, enabling the country to focus on essential needs. Second, geopolitical interests. The Horn of Africa holds strategic importance for both regional and global security. By offering debt relief, the US aims to stabilize Somalia, curbing the influence of extremist groups like Al-Shabaab. Third, aligning with international efforts. The US decision aligns with similar actions by international bodies like the IMF and World Bank, aimed at helping heavily indebted countries achieve financial stability. And finally, economic reform incentives. The US hopes that debt cancellation will motivate Somalia to implement better governance and fiscal management practices, ensuring sustainable future growth. This move underscores the U.S. quote, "S dual priorities of humanitarian support and security interests in the Horn of Africa," demonstrating how debt relief can serve as both economic aid and a strategic foreign policy tool. So what does this mean for Somalia? Cancelling $1.1 billion in debt opens up significant opportunities for the Somali government. With fewer financial obligations, Somalia can now allocate funds to critical sectors like healthcare, infrastructure, and education. This isn't just a minor budget adjustment, it's a pivotal moment for Somalia to lay the groundwork for sustainable development. Imagine a Somalia where resources once tied up in debt repayments are now invested in building hospitals, modernizing agriculture, and improving roads. For a nation historically grappling with economic challenges, this debt relief is transformative, paving the way for a healthier, more resilient society. Debt relief doesn't just eliminate a financial burden, it fosters hope and creates fiscal space for transformative projects that can uplift an entire generation. The US decision to cancel $1.1 billion of Somalia's debt is a calculated geopolitical strategy. The Horn of Africa is a critical region plagued by instability, with militant groups like Al-Shabaab posing significant threats. By alleviating Somalia's debt burden, the US aims to bolster local governance and economic resilience, crucial for undermining terrorist influence. A more stable Somalia contributes to a safer and more secure Horn of Africa. This approach allows the US to counter extremism through economic and political support, rather than direct military intervention. Investing in Somalia's capacity for self-governance and stability is a sustainable long-term strategy. Debt cancellation aligns humanitarian objectives with security interests, fostering a more self-sufficient and secure partner in the Horn of Africa. The United States' decision to cancel $1.1 billion of Somalia's debt aligns with broader international debt relief initiatives spearheaded by the IMF and World Bank. These global institutions have long championed debt forgiveness as a crucial tool to aid low-income, heavily indebted countries in achieving economic stability. Somalia, grappling with significant economic challenges, stands out as a key beneficiary of such relief efforts. By aligning with the IMF and World Bank, the United States underscores its commitment to global solidarity and cooperative economic recovery. This move highlights a collective dedication to addressing humanitarian crises, demonstrating that nations can come together to support a cause greater than themselves. Debt relief has emerged as a pivotal global strategy for fostering development, showcasing how international collaboration can transform economies in distress. While the debt cancellation offers significant benefits, it also presents several challenges. One major concern is the signal it sends to international creditors and investors. If Somalia's financial policies are perceived as unstable, it could deter future investments. To remain debt-free, Somalia must practice disciplined financial management and avoid accumulating unsustainable new loans. Another challenge is ensuring that the resources freed up by debt relief are utilized effectively. Implementing economic reforms, ensuring transparency, and maintaining accountability are crucial to reinvest funds wisely and achieve tangible progress. Debt relief offers a new beginning, but sustaining it will require Somalia to adopt robust governance, financial discipline, and continuous reform. Could Somalia's debt relief serve as a catalyst for similar initiatives across Africa? With over $700 billion in external debt, Sub-Saharan Africa faces a monumental financial challenge. The United States' decision to cancel $1.1 billion of Somalia's debt could set a transformative precedent. If other nations demonstrate a genuine commitment to reforms and humanitarian objectives, they too might pursue debt forgiveness as a viable path to development. Imagine the possibilities. Nations liberated from crippling debt, channeling resources into their citizens and future growth without the burden of loan repayments. This could mark a pivotal moment not just for Somalia, but for the entire African continent. Somalia's experience could become a blueprint, illustrating that debt forgiveness, when paired with reforms and responsible governance, can lead to sustainable national growth and prosperity. Somalia's journey toward debt freedom marks a significant milestone, not just for the country, but for the global movement toward economic sovereignty and relief for heavily indebted nations. This $1.1 billion debt cancellation isn't merely a financial reset, it's a beacon of hope for a nation grappling with long-standing challenges. For Somalia, this move paves the way for infrastructure improvements, economic reforms, and much-needed humanitarian relief. If Somalia can maintain effective governance and utilize this newfound freedom responsibly, it could inspire similar efforts across Africa and other developing regions. Imagine a future where nations once burdened by debt can focus on development and uplift their communities. Somalia's achievement could be the beginning of that transformation, and here at Mwaki Insights, we'll be following this story and others like it as they unfold. Thank you for joining us in exploring the impacts of this historic debt cancellation. If you found this video insightful, please hit the like button and share it with others who might be interested. And if you're new to Mwaki Insights, consider subscribing to stay updated with in-depth analyses on global economic developments, humanitarian issues, and geopolitical shifts. Let's continue this conversation in the comments. Do you think debt forgiveness could reshape the future of global development? Your insights could spark meaningful dialogue.